Isaac, I just wanted to say congratulations on 100 episodes of the Cajun Conservative. Congratulations. Love you, brother.
He said that Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.
Well, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Cajun Conservative, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we're showing the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Our 100 episode, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Scott Ford for the video that you've seen before the intro video. And look, Scott's been here since, well, close to the beginning. I started recording in November of 2020, right after the presidential election, and people were asking me what was going on, who won the election, what's next, what's going to happen. And in February, me and Scott had a mutual friend that teamed us up together, and ever since then, Scott has been listening and been part of the Cajun Conservative Show. So, Scott, thank you for the congratulations on the 100 video. It is appreciated more than you know, my friend. I know you're listening. Ladies and gentlemen, I said 100 episodes, and when you start something, I think I said this in the 99th episode, you don't think how far it can go. And to the date, we've been building up an audience. We have moved on to 2 episodes a week, and that was the audience. The audience was asking me, "Hey, we want more content from you. We want more opinions." And doing 3 segments once a week started getting hard. You had all these articles, and look, by the time I'm recording, I have 2 to 3 days of material that I have to go through, and it's a lot easier to split in half and give 2 episodes a week. And it's I ask advice, ask how I could do it, and over 100 episodes later, it's great. Now, I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't do these 100 episodes alone. I got to go ahead and give props to my guest host, Barry Martin. Barry has not been on the show for a while, but that's because I'm a workaholic and I like being on this show. But every time I need a break, I either call Brother Barry or someone, and Brother Barry has been there from the jump. Brother Barry, thank you, my friend, for guest hosting. I think he hosts 2 of the episodes. He hosts one when my little baby girl was born. And I had some event. I can't remember what event it was, but Barry stepped in. Barry came behind the at the time, the Cajun golden microphone. We don't have a golden microphone no more. But yeah, so Barry Martin is part of that 100. And all the guests, I had Greg Locke, Scott Ford, Caleb Morris. We had a few guests on this show, ladies and gentlemen. We had congressional candidates. I haven't gotten none yet this year. I need to try to get some congressional candidates on here. But yeah, we had some great guests. They've helped me out. We had Culper's Canteen Cup. I got to remember them guys. They're some good friends of mine. But God has been good to this show, ladies and gentlemen. 100 episodes. And like I said, every time I say it, it don't surprise me. Overall, with this 100 episode, and Brothers Just Searching celebrating its 100 episode right before its 3-year anniversary. So I've done over 200 and something podcasts just in this studio alone, and that's not me editing podcasts. That's not, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this building besides just the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching. But God has been faithful. God has been blessing us in more ways than one. I'm excited to get into this 100 episode, and I'm just ready. I am ready for the next 100 episodes. Now, I'm not going to jump that far. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but guess what? The Lord is blessing us beyond comprehension. I'm serious, ladies and gentlemen. I just, every time I think about it, and I also got to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, because you make the Cajun Conservative possible. You might be listening in your headphones. You might be listening in your car. You might be listening on the TV. Sometimes I do that. I put on Spotify and I listen on the TV. You might be in your house watching on YouTube or Rumble or Spotify, And none of this would be possible without you, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look, when I say I love you guys, I do. I believe the Cajun Conservative has the greatest audience in the world, in my humble opinion. And you decide to listen, you decide to engage in the conversations, and this would not be possible without you. So thank you. 100 episodes down, and I know I still got listeners from the very beginning. We had Brandon Portier a few weeks ago, and he listened from the beginning. He was happy to come on. Elijah Armitar, another listener that came on and joined me and just wanted to chill and have a good time, being a listener from the beginning. So everyone that has been here from the beginning, thank you. And the new audience, if this is your first time, thank you for listening to the Cajun Conservative. As always, I remind everyone, please hit the subscribe button on the platform you are listening. We are on Apple, Google, Spotify, Rumble, YouTube, Amazon Music, Anchor, and and we have other platforms we are on. Go check me out at my website, thecajunconservativeshow.wordpress.com, and you can see all the listings. You can also find us on Facebook, and Facebook has all our platforms that we are on. So I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready to dive into tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you. Biden is blaming someone else now for all the crisis that has been going on in the world today. What do I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, since the time of his presidency, he has been blaming everyone except himself. Now, this is contradicting to what he said back in June of 2020. President Biden went ahead and put out a tweet in June of 2020, and if you want the exact date, is June 4th of 2020. It's hard to believe this has to be said, but unlike this president, he's talking about President Donald Trump, I will do my job and take responsibility. I won't blame others, and I will never forget that the job isn't about me, it's about you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is then presidential candidate, then candidate Joe Biden. But listen to his tweet. I'm going to read it again. And I know my audience. I know y'all guys. I know y'all probably took the Q-tip out and started scrubbing your ears. And like, what did he tweet? It's hard to believe this has to be said, but unlike this president, talking about President Donald Trump, I'll do my job and take responsibility. I won't blame others. And I'll never forget that the job isn't about me, it's about you. The thing about it is, when that tweet came out, we had low inflation. We were energy independent. Our border was secure. We didn't have migrants passing over because we were building a wall. Our shelves were full. People were getting better jobs with better wages. The job wages went up. And in America, was America perfect when Donald Trump was there? No, especially that tweet, because we had COVID-19 happening at the time. And on the advice of the Democrat Party, which I don't understand why any common sense Republican would take advice from a Democrat on policy or to solve an issue. Every time the Democrats touch something, it turns to chaos. But Donald Trump went ahead and listened to Democrats and some rhino Republicans saying we need to shut down the country. And Donald Trump did right on that point. He said, look, I'm going to leave it up to the governors. And ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 hit this country real, real hard. It took a pandemic to bring Donald Trump down. Everything the Democrat Party didn't. But according to Joe Biden in June of 2020, he says, unlike the president, he would do his job. Now, if his job is to go ahead and destroy the America as we know it, he has done his job. And he does not need to blame no one else. That is him. But ladies and gentlemen, I learned about the Democrat Party that when something goes wrong, it's not their fault. It don't matter, ladies and gentlemen. It don't matter what they do. President Biden could somehow hit the wrong button on the nuclear football, and he still blamed the former president Donald J. Trump. Why am I bringing this up? Why am I bringing this tweet? Because this is a 2-year-old tweet. Because President Joe Biden, as I said, is blaming other people besides Putin, Ukraine, Russia, and everybody. Because you remember, ladies and gentlemen, he's been... Now, remember, I'm going to hold the president up to his words. He said this: I will do my job and take responsibility. I won't blame others. Well, the migrants are coming over. Oh, it's Donald Trump's fault because Donald Trump messed up the migrant system so much that it's hard to fix it. The gas prices is really Putin's fault because he went to war with Ukraine and we had to stop Russian oil. So guess what? Yeah, it's Russia's fault. It's Putin's fault. It's Ukraine's fault. If Ukraine wouldn't have, I guess, pedoed Putin, they wouldn't be doing this. Which gas prices are up and everybody was blaming. But now he's not blaming them, ladies and gentlemen. And I know why, because it is election season. It is an election season. Ladies and gentlemen, at the time of this podcast, we're only 5 short months away from November. 5 months away from the midterm elections. I'm reminding you that it's only 5 months. Listen to President Joe Biden's one of his latest tweets, as he don't blame Russia no more. Listen to who he blames. Republicans are doing nothing but obstructing our efforts to crack down on gas price gouging, lower food prices, lower healthcare costs, and hopefully soon lower your prescription drugs. This is not right, and that's why this election is going to be so darn important. That comes from President Joe Biden on July 10th, which was Sunday. So who is he blaming? Oh, it's the Republicans' fault. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the whole... Now when I heard this, I said to myself, this is nuts. Because now look, President Biden has been over a year, a little over a year maybe, have been blaming everyone else. But now that it's time for election season, it's the Republicans' fault. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just gave you a few stats and that was on top of my head. Under Republican leadership back from 2016 to 2020, our economy was booming. Right now, our economy's in the tank. From 2016 to 2020, our fuel prices went down tremendously. Even under Barack Obama, who I disagree with Barack Obama very, and I used to call him one of the worst presidents in the world. President Obama, if you're listening, if I had the honor of you listening, you are the 3rd worst president of the United States. You don't have to worry about being number 2. And Jimmy Carter, you're not number 1 no more. You're number 2. Because Biden is number 1. That's just 2 short years he's been there. But from under Obama, we only, I think, went up to like $4 a gallon, give or take natural average. But ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. President, from 2016 to 2020, we went from energy dependent to energy independent. We had here in Louisiana, I remember I seen at almost $1.50 to $1.75 a gallon, give or take. I can't remember exactly what I seen. But our gas prices now. President Joe gets in there. Gas prices start going up, and especially when Ukraine and Putin came into play, all of a sudden it skyrocketed, and guess what? Now we have to blame Putin for it. We've had a formula crisis under President Biden. From 2016 to 2020, our border on the southern border was secure. No one could get in, no one could get out without someone knowing it. President Trump went ahead, and it was one of the lowest immigration or illegal immigration in the time of the United States. Biden gets in there. Guess what? Signed 17 some executive orders on the first day, signed another in the teens executive order, and guess what? All of a sudden, the border is going up. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read Mr. Biden's tweet again from June of 2020. It's hard to believe that has to be said, but unlike this president, I will do my job. The thing of it is, Mr. Biden, he did his job. I'll take responsibility. I won't blame others. But I'll never forget that this job isn't about me, it's about you. But now he's saying in a tweet on last Sunday, Republicans are doing nothing but obstructing our efforts to crack down on gas price gouging and lower food prices, lower healthcare laws, and hopefully soon lower your prescription drugs. This isn't right, and that's why this election is going to be so darn important. See, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing that matched with these two tweets? It was election time. See, ladies and gentlemen, the president's going to tell you what you're going to hear, but actions speak louder than words. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden has not taken blame for anything he has done. And look, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, if the president would have went ahead and taken blame for what he done, I probably would respect the president just a little bit more. Now, I respect the office. I respect his position. I understand all that, ladies and gentlemen. But the president of the United States is blaming Putin, blaming Ukraine, blaming Republicans, and all this is falling on his shoulders. And I said this in an episode a while back. I can't remember which one. But if you compare, what changed in 2021? February of 2021. What changed? We had a different president. Now, look, I'm not gonna stand behind this microphone and say Donald Trump was perfect, because I'm on this podcast and y'all hear me all the time. I criticize stuff that Donald Trump done in the past, especially, when and look, I know he did it for the military, and thank God he did it. But at the same time, President Trump brought our debt up so much. And it ain't helping that Biden is sending almost $50 billion and sending our oil to China. So I do criticize President Trump on that. I do criticize Trump on a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen. But to say he didn't do his job, I'll give him a B+. I'll give him that all day long. But ladies and gentlemen, Biden, I'm quoting two tweets right here. 2 years apart, almost exact to the date, 2 years apart. And what Biden said he would not do, he's doing, and he's getting backlash for it. Because Scott Jennings went on Twitter and said 88% wrong track, 38% job approval. Go. Luck with this BS. I'm not going to quote the whole thing. Tommy Tuberville, Senator. Joe Biden believes that American peoples are fools. Because, ladies and gentlemen, he does. Tommy Tuberville is right. This man is blaming Republicans. Now, and look, I'm even going to say this disclaimer. Are Republicans perfect? No. Mitch McConnell and the 14 other idiots that signed the gun bill. Dumb as a box of rocks. And see, that's what you get when you listen to the Cajun Conservative. I just don't beat up on the Democrats. I beat up on the Republicans too. Because I feel what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and it needs to be addressed. And I'm going to call out this president right here. He is not doing his job, and he's not taking blame for anything. And I hate to say it, he should. I'll be right back after this short break on the 100th episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. How you doing, everyone? Isaac here. I'm the Cajun Conservative, and I want to thank Brother Lanny Hayes from Hayes' Dump Truck Service for their generous support of the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching. Hayes' Dump Truck Service serves the Lafayette and surrounding areas. If you have any job that you need done, like cleanup or hauling material to your job site or your home, we haul limestone, we haul sand, we haul topsoil, any type of material you need. If you're in the Lafayette and surrounding areas, please call Brother Lanny Hayes at 337-852-8043. Remember, Hayes' Dump Truck Service, where Jesus is Lord of the company. All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the 100th episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. Every time I say that, ladies and gentlemen, 100 episodes. 100 episodes, almost 2 years. I'm about. Okay, so we went to somewhat of an election season in 2021, but it wasn't as big as 2022. And I'm already planning on doing something. I do need to get in touch with some sources and some contacts that I want to join in. You know, hey, the Cajun Conservative might be like Fox News. We might have breaking news coverage. Hey, I'm working on something. We're going to see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, so the last couple of days, we've been hearing a lot about gun control, especially, well, this is not the last couple of days, almost the past 2 weeks. We've had 15 Republicans joining with the Democrats, which I still don't know why they did. Well, this is to protect people. Isaac, what you saying? Well, you didn't need to. You know, if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, if the Republicans really wanted to do something, they should have waited until after November when they get the House and possibly the Senate to do something. Yeah, but President Biden wouldn't have signed it. Well, then that's what it showed me. He really ain't worried about gun legislation or gun safety. He's really worried about gun takeover. And why do I say that? Michael Moore, and this guy is a nut. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna knock Michael Moore because Michael Moore does the same thing I do. I'm just conservative. He's liberal. Michael Moore has a microphone. He is a national surrogate, so he's listened to he's listening a lot more than I am. But Michael Moore, according to the Daily Wire, proposed a 28th Amendment which repeals the Second. Now, Michael Moore has done this, and I want to get some of his takes on that. Moore proposed a 28th Amendment which said would repeal and replace the Second Amendment and lay out details describing of what the new amendment would entail. The animal right to free people to keep safe from gun violence and the fear thereof must not be infringed and shall be protected by Congress and the states. The amendment thus repeals the Second Amendment. Section 1 of Moore's proposal amendment reads, there's a problem with this. Michael Moore, the reason we have the inviolable right to keep safe or be a free people and keep safe is because of guns. That's why the Second Amendment was placed in America, ladies and gentlemen. And look, that's what gets me upset about when I hear people argue about the Second Amendment and how it is bad and it's evil. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason the Founding Fathers put that into the Constitution was because they just finished fighting a war where they had guns to fight their enemies, of people that was trying to infringe their rights as free people. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason we are safe is because of the Second Amendment. The reason we have the First Amendment, and it has stand strong, the First Amendment, because we have the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is not for us to go hunting. I live in the sportsman's paradise. I love going hunt squirrel. I love going hunt deer. I haven't went duck hunting yet. I'm hoping to experience that soon. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason that is, and I love hunting, but it's not the reason for the Second Amendment. That is a benefit of the Second Amendment, but it's not the main reason for the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is for us as individuals to protect our homes and to protect ourselves from a government that is trying to infringe our rights. That's why the government has not tried. That's why you haven't had a nut that got in the White House and said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take over America and make America a dictatorship. Because American citizens have guns. So his inevitable right of a free people and to keep safe. Now he says from gun violence. Well, I hate to say this, Michael Moore. You're not thinking straight, because how are you going to keep safe from gun violence? Take all the guns away. Of course, that's how we're going to stop gun violence. No, because you're going to have idiots like the Highland Park shooting that had got red flagged and still picked up a gun. Because, see, and that's the whole thing about this debate, ladies and gentlemen. All these people that think about this, you're not going to stop a bad guy with a gun. Why? Because the bad guy don't care about the law. Ladies and gentlemen, they just passed this whole gun legislation. 15 Republicans got brainwashed into signing this thing. But guess what? Them new laws that they put on the book, a criminal's going to look at that. If he had the paper in front of him, scrabble it up, throw it away, and says, I don't care about the law. I'm a criminal. And this is another thing too, ladies and gentlemen, that on that point, they're not looking out for the law-abiding citizens. They're looking out for every time gun legislation passed, that's less people. The criminal thinks, hey, that's less people that have gun that I can go do what I need to do. Section 2 outlines the restrictions that would be imposed for a few situations in which legal firearms could be acquired. A national registry and license program that would allow firearms to be used for hunting, targeting, shooting, and in very limited cases where people could demonstrate a legitimate reason, self-defense. Section 2 also proposes an extensive background checks, including a mental health check, an interview with partners and ex, and a mandating 1 month waiting period. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what about the criminals? Look, God forbid this happens. Michael Moore's proposal goes into reality. Ladies and gentlemen, law-abiding citizens are going to follow this. The criminals won't. That's the point they're not getting. We're going to make sure that the law-abiding citizens get a background check. Yeah, but what about the idiots that are going on the streets and buying guns illegally? President Biden's big ghost gun executive order a while back. What about ghost guns? When people make guns and put them together. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem with Michael Moore and many other left-wing nuts. They look at the law-abiding citizens, but don't look at the crooks. That's the whole issue right there, ladies and gentlemen. All right, moving on, talking about gun legislation. Monday, President Joe Biden, backwards Joe, went ahead and had a ceremony, I believe on the West Lawn, to where he had people from shootings and people that helped pass this legislation. It was a celebration of the new gun law. And he was praising it, but at the same time, he's telling Congress, hey, this is a start. And I like how it does this, ladies and gentlemen. Don't praise and say, look, it's bipartisanship. I understand that. But don't praise, he's not praising the victory he has. He's just saying, I want more. And on another note, when is this going to stop? I always said that. All right, what if we go ahead and ban assault weapons? What if we go ahead and ban high capacity magazines? What if we go ahead and ban what next? And look, I'm going to prove this point. The leftists do this in England. England, you can't have a gun. But now that murders have spiked with knives, now they want to ban certain knives. They got to be a certain length of your hand. And when is it going to stop? Ladies and gentlemen, you can't stop evil unless you have a good person with a weapon. But President Joe Biden has called for all this. Well, while in the middle of his speech, Manuel Oliver, whose son was murdered in the Parkland, Florida mass shooting of 2018, started shouting during the speech, and he was saying somewhat to, it's not enough. And of course, I just so happened at the time, I went on live and I saw Biden talking with somebody. And let him speak. Oh, I know it's not enough. He was escorted out. And the president, through the press secretary, Jane Perry, which, on the side note, I thought about this the other day about this woman. This poor woman, she was suckered into that position. Wait, that's a whole different topic. What you mean? No, she was suckered into the position. Jane Pasowski. I thought it was bad. This woman's worse. And the communication department of the White House is in shambles, where their communication director has quit. Poor Jane Perry. She got suckered into, hey, you want to be the press secretary? Oh yeah, I'll be in the spotlight. Yay! And it's not good for her. Anyway. Jane Perry says Biden understood what Oliver's feeling. Biden, and they talk about his wife and his first wife and his daughter and his adult son. Our hearts go out to Manuel Oliver, who has suffered a deep, deep loss. She said the president met with him earlier today before the event, and as you know, the president understands what loss feels like. But before the White House event, Oliver tweeted his disapproval of the White House was effectively celebrating a very instrumental piece of gun legislation. The word celebration has no space in a society that saw 19 kids massacred just a few months ago, he said. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Not me. not Jaquin. That must be his wife or someone. So on this note, ladies and gentlemen, as I just said, and I use that example, want more. Gun people always want more. They want to take away, as I just said with Michael Moore, this fella right here. Look, my heart goes out to him. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine getting a phone call saying, hey, the school that your son goes to has been shot up and your son was one of the victims. My heart would sink. This man lost his son. And I do pray for him. I do pray. And now this man probably would come back to me, you saying that, but you're going to agree with gun laws. You're going to agree with gun. Yeah, because, you know, if we would go ahead and put more protections at schools, or in Parkland, I think Parkland was Parkland shooting was a nightclub shooting, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go look that up. Because if it's that, what was that person doing in that club? But, you know, Parkland, let's see. Parkland, let's see. No, high school correction. But it goes to my point too. No, so which one? Oh, it was a gay nightclub. Okay. I'm trying to fix too much information at one time. But this just proves a point. If we would have more security, or and look, even that, I was at 2018. I wish President Trump would have put some implement into that. Schools should be a safe zone, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that this man is gonna say, well, this idiot went ahead in this school. Just imagine, just on the top of my head, imagine if that shooter knew that it had 5 teachers with guns in that school, or every teacher had a gun in the school. Oh, them teachers are gonna hear somebody gonna pull out their gun, they're gonna shoot everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, a well-trained person with a firearm knows how to control themselves. Like I said, and look, this guy was escorted out for disrupting President Biden, backwards Joe's press conference. And listen to what he says. There need to be more. Now, like I said, Biden in the speech did say, hey, I'm calling on Congress to limit the sales or ban the sales of assault weapons. I'm here to ban high capacity magazines. I'm here to, and banning all this stuff, which is not going to be popular. That's why this bill is in the liberals' cases, they're saying it's so wishy-washy, because they don't have none of this stuff in there. We'll have to see. Still on guns, I just picked up this story from Politico. This was from today, Tuesday, the 12th of July. California Governor Gavin Newsom, you know, the Gavin Newsom that I talked about, that's running political ads in Florida, that he's possibly going to be running for president. Which, on that note, I just thought about this. There is an opinion piece on CNN that says Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, and they're not running against Biden in 2024. They're not going to run. There's an issue. There's 71% of Democrats say they don't want him to run. If you want them 71% to vote for your candidate, you got to get the guy you got out of there. But anyway, signed the bill on Tuesday, allowing individuals as well as state and local governments to sue gun makers for neglect, potential paving the way to a wave of lawsuits if the legislation survives inedible legal challenges. The measures reflect an effort by California and other states led by Democrats to strengthen gun restrictions following mass shootings across the country in the face of fierce oppression by the industry, the Republican allies, and a conservative Supreme Court. So, ladies and gentlemen, Gavin Newsom's doing this, but he's already saying too, I'm just doing this for show. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you just saw New York's gun law get shut down. You know, the one that says, hey, the only reason you can have a concealed carry is if you show probable cause. Michael Moore pushed that, hey, you can only have a gun if you feel your life is threatened after a month wait, after a extensive background check, and after interviewing everybody else. And ladies and gentlemen, look, I know this is all different. This is talking about suing gun manufacturers. I said this. I think it was Remington Firearms that went ahead and settled a lawsuit with the Parkland shooting victims. People got money from a gun manufacturer where nothing of the gun manufacturer was there. Oh, they advertise this gun as a lethal defense. Well, every gun is a defense gun. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a little 22 pistol, and guess what? That is a defense round. If you shoot it right, you can protect yourself with it. Somebody, I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. If I see a barrel pointing in my face, I don't care if it's a 22. I don't care if it's a 45. I don't care if it's a 380. I don't care if it's a 30-30. I don't care. A barrel is pointing to me. I'm running the opposite way. But ladies and gentlemen, the blame for California and Gavin Newsom, of all people, to go ahead and blame gun manufacturers, it's kind of stretching it over the barrel a little bit. And ladies, I'm jumping on the fly between segments. I'm looking at stories and trying to see what fits for this show. And ladies and gentlemen, this whole thing about attacking the Second Amendment, it scares me. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about safety. I'm sorry. The Democrats can say that till they're blue in the face. So this is about saving lives, saving. Now, and look, I'm going to use, for example, Michael Moore and even, all these people that are saying about giving them a month wait and extensive background checks and interviewing this and this. What if somebody goes into a gun shop, has no criminal record, nothing's wrong with it, and says, I fear for my life, can I get a gun? And the gun owner should, the gun shop owner should say, look, you need to go ahead and take a firearm class and all that stuff. We have one tomorrow, and they show her how to use it. And she gets this gun, or he gets this gun, and someone attacks him that night, and he can protect himself. Imagine this 28th Amendment and Gavin Newsom and President Biden, and unfortunately this gentleman that lost his son's proposals go through. You have to wait a month. Yeah, somebody's gonna go into a gun shop. Hey, can I get a gun? I feel my life is threatened. Okay, fill out the paperwork. All right, can you put two people that we can reference? We're gonna interview them tomorrow. And you're also gonna have to wait a month while going to the background check. And that night something happens to them. Who to blame then? The Republicans? No. And this is why, and then go on top of that, if the sue manufacturers, because they're advertising as defense rounds. Every gun's a defense round. That's my opinion on that. I'll be right back after this short break again of the 100th episode. We'll be right back.
Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. My name is Scott Ford, and I have a show on Rumble. It's the Scott Ford Show, all in one word, the Scott Ford Show, and it's on Rumble. And I also have a motivational success show on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell. That would mean a lot to me. Enjoy your life. Thank you, Isaac. God bless.
And you touch me with your hand. You made me understand. Hold on to the light.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of the 100th episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. It's been fun. It's been a blessing. I just, I was like I said earlier, I was putting the math together. I've easily done over 230 some podcasts, give or take. Been a guest host on Culper's Canteen Cup. Been a host on. Been a guest on Scott's show. I've been a guest on Savage Nate Savage's 50/50. I've been on a debate with a podcast called Dude Connect, and so if you add all that together, about 230, 240, somewhere around there. And I'm blessed, ladies and gentlemen. I've been blessed beyond comprehension, and I'm just excited. God has done great and marvelous things, and look. So I've been podcasting now for a total of almost 3.5 years, and it's been a blessing. Started in the beginning of 2020 with Brothers Just Searching, and just moved on to here. And it's the Lord told me when I was 15 through another brother in the Lord that I would speak to the world. And right before starting podcasting, I I was discouraged. I said, Lord, you told me I'm going to speak to the world. I'm not speaking to nobody. I'm not even ministering. At the time, I was not a youth pastor. I wasn't a music director. I wasn't doing nothing. I was just being home, being an everyday normal Christian, I guess you could say. And God opened the door for me to do Brothers Just Searching and do the Cajun Conservative. And while before the Cajun Conservative, I looked at Brothers Just Searching's locations where they've been heard and they were listened to in other countries. And the Lord said, see, I told you, you're going to be listened to all over the world. I'm not the biggest podcast in the world, but at least somebody's getting, is being edified by what I'm doing. And that's worth it all, ladies and gentlemen. One person gets saved through this whole process with the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching, I'm happy. And I just can't wait to see. It just shows me how faithful God is. And I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so this was Tuesday, the 12th of July. A Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on abortion on the legal consequences of the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization blew up during a tense back and forth between Senator Josh Hawley, he is a Republican of Missouri, and Berkeley law professor Kareem Bridges. When the senator questioned her characteristics of who can get pregnant, after Bridges referred to people with the capacity of getting for pregnancy, Holly asked if she met woman. When the professor stated that some women cannot get pregnant and that some transgender men and non-binary people can, Harley questioned whether abortion is really a woman's right issue as it has historically been presented. This led the professor to accuse Harley of creating a dangerous situation with his questions. I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them, said Bridges, who teaches courses in family law as a representing rights and justice. Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the only folks who can have pregnancies? Harley asks. Bridges responded by stating that 1 in 5 transgender people have attempted to commit suicide because of my line of question. Harley shot back, so we can't talk about it? Bridges said Harley was causing a problem by denying the trans people's existence and pretending not to know they exist. The Republican senator questioned the idea that he was denying that trans people existed, but asking a question about women getting pregnant. Bridges then offered Harley a test. Do you believe that men can get pregnant? She asked. No, I don't think men can get pregnant, Harley replied, leading Bridges to state that this means he denies the existence of trans people. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this whole argument right here. And look, on this first note, I want to say, can you believe these conversations are happening on Capitol Hill? I'm asking you a question. Can you believe these conversations are happening on Capitol Hill right now? We have senators and congressmen and that look at all the issues surrounding this nation. We're having questions if men can have babies and if women cannot have babies. Now, I want to also bring out the second point. Do you notice what this woman did? This woman changed the whole narrative of the conversation. This woman instantly called him a homophobe and started saying he was attacking transgender people. When Harley, Senator Harley, all he was asking was, first off, if men can get pregnant, is abortion just a women's rights issue? Because see, that's the thing you've been hearing about with this ever since this decision dropped at the Supreme Court. It is women's rights that have been taken away. It's women's rights that are being neglected. It's women's rights this or women's rights that. But if men can get pregnant, is this a whole issue? Now, if that raises another question, okay, if this is a whole, if men can get pregnant too, don't men have a say in abortions? Or an abortion issue that's going on in America today? Oh no, because you're a man. Wait a minute, what? I thought men could get pregnant. If men can get pregnant and can have abortions, don't they have a say in the issue? But you see, she's referring to trans men who are really women that want to look like men, so had surgery to have men, but wanted to keep their women's parts so they can have a baby and say they're a man that's having a baby. That's what that is. Josh Hawley didn't attack transgender men. He didn't attract no transgenders whatsoever. But because he's narrow-minded and believe that men cannot get pregnant, he's attacking the transgender community because he's a homophobic. Just think about that, ladies and gentlemen. And look, this lady turned her whole debate was totally different. And Josh Hawley, I think, did right. But like Josh Hawley said, it is, and I like his line of questioning when he said it. He said, is abortion just a women's right issue, as it has always been? Because that's the whole thing. Women can only get pregnant. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, just going back to I can't believe this is happening in Capitol Hill. We're having professors. Now, this lady's a law professor. She ain't a biologist. We gotta make that. Now, if she ain't a wait, hold on. Now that raises a whole nother question. If she ain't a biologist, why she's bringing up this issue? Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about women's pregnancy or men's pregnancy. This is about this whole transgender thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, and I don't know who I'm gonna offend by saying this, but men cannot get pregnant. Like I said, my wife would have loved to flip at least one of our pregnancies to where I could have got pregnant. Oh, non-binary. It don't matter. If you're a man, you're not going to get pregnant. I don't care if you say you're a woman till you blue in the face. It is impossible for a biological man to get pregnant. And it's impossible for a biological woman to get a man pregnant. But that's the society we're living in right now. Like I said, there's them 2 points. I just wanted to bring that out. Like I said, I can't believe in Capitol Hill we're having these issues. Anyway, moving on. So Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden is in the news this week, and she is getting a lot of criticism. Why? Because according to Fox News, Jill Biden says Texas Hispanics as unique as breakfast tacos during a San Antonio speech. So this was done on the 11th of July. Joe Biden on Monday said Hispanic community was a unique as breakfast tacos during a speech in San Antonio. Biden was speaking at a 2022 UDUS U.S. annual conference titled, I cannot speak Spanish, I'm sorry. Our quest for equality. That was the end of it. When she made the remarks, at the time she was commending the president of the organization, Ryan Uguer's work. And like I said, I'm sorry, I can't speak Spanish. I have a hard time speaking Cajun. Raw has helped build this organization with the understanding that diversity of this community, as distinct as the Borges of bricks, as beautiful as the blossom of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast taco here in San Antonio, is your strength, she says. Now, ladies and gentlemen, she's been getting backlash. She has since apologized. This came from Fox News earlier today. Jill Biden apologized for taco comments about the Latinos. First Lady Jill Biden apologizes for her recent comments comparing Latinos to breakfast tacos at the Hispanic Conference in San Antonio. Dr. Biden's press secretary, Michael LaRosa, tweeted the First Lady apologized for her on Tuesday, a day after she made the comparison in her speech at the 2020 UD's U.S. annual conference while talking about the president of the organization and his work in the organization. And then they go ahead and they read the speech back. But ladies and gentlemen, now, she has been getting backlash out of this. But I'm going to be honest with you. I have been searching all day on my various news apps. This has not come up. Now, I understand why this hasn't come up, because this is Backwards Joe's wife. They can't make the Bidens look good. They can't make them look racist. They can't. I saw one article, and I didn't save this, but one article said this is worse than Biden, if you don't vote for me, you're not black scenario. And Biden was implying that all black people vote Democrat, and that's not true. There's a lot of, especially last election, a lot more black people voted for President Donald Trump than any other Republican candidate. So, but why isn't this all over CNN? Why is this all over Politico? Why isn't this over Washington Post? Why is this? Because it's a Biden, ladies and gentlemen. They will cover, and they don't want them to think they're racist. Because, ladies and gentlemen, comparing Latinos to tacos, you're comparing a entity of people to food. To me, and I'm not Latino, but I would assume they're offended. And we can go ahead and read the articles, because this is from Fox News. Hispanic GOP candidate slammed Joe Biden as taco remarks as grossly offensive beyond the pale, beyond her whiteness. Hispanic Republican candidates fired back Tuesday after First Lady Joe Biden said that the Hispanic community was unique as breakfast tacos. They also attacked her for speaking at a conference entitled Latino X Exclusive. So this was only for Latinos. You couldn't, now she must have been the only white person there, apparently, in her staff. But, I don't know, man. As an Hispanic woman who has a rich culture filled with ancestors who struggled against all manner of obstruction and poverty, it's grossly offensive to compare my people to taco. Alexander Martins John, the GOP nominee for the New Mexico 3rd Congressional District, told Fox News Digital Thursday. Even by going to the event called Latino X Exclusive, they are erasing our culture, our heritage, and our mal gender beautiful language. Martinez Johnson added, Joe Biden and the Democrats continue to show that they don't care about the minority communities, whether it's saying you ain't black to African American Republicans or comparing Hispanic Americans' unique history to a Latino breakfast food. Shame on them. Jose Castellino, a Disney employee and candidate for the Florida 9th Congressional District, compared Joe Biden to the Democrats. Compared Joe Biden to a Democrat former First Lady. This is a reminiscence of 2016 when Hillary Clinton was lambasted by Hispanic across the nation for her out-of-touch abalo pondering. He told Fox News Digital, referring to the Latino Clinton staffer viral 2016 blog comparing then the president candidate to your Abiro. Like I said, sorry folks, I can't speak Spanish. Just a few things, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people in the Hispanic community is very peed on this. Why? Because you're comparing a whole entity of people to breakfast food. Now, on this note, like I said, imagine if Melania Trump would have did this, or any one of the Bush's wives. Just imagine they comparing the Latino community to tacos. CNN, MSNBC, CBS, all of them would have been running this story nonstop. Them racist, homophobic, no good Republicans. It's Joe Biden. Her husband's backwards Joe. Let's scoop that under the rug. This story is going to be wiped away anyway by the time it is recording. A lot of people won't hear about this story. All right, so I want to talk about Herschel Walker in the last few minutes I have. Herschel Walker, famous running back in the NFL, is running for Senate in Georgia. He has won the nomination, and he won hands down. Hands down, he won it fair and square. He just didn't grace over the line. He bulldozed over that line. He took the finish line with him, where the other candidates thought they were still running. But this week, Herschel Walker has been attacked by the Washington Post with the comment. Now, I'm surprised. Now, this might be an independent opinion piece. If this is an opinion piece, well, I can understand the guy's thoughts on this. But Trump-backed Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker is under fire yet again, this time from a Washington Post columnist, claiming his intelligence and his contrasting his aligned craziness to Senator Rudolph Warnock. While Walker wanders along the campaign trail. Walker, Democratic rival, incumbent Senator Randolph Warnock, has constructively on emphasizing what he has accomplished for Georgians in his brief time in office, which is nothing. Never mind. Despite the choice between craze and complex, polls show Walker and Warnock in a statistic tie, wrote Arthur Eugene Robinson. Robinson called Walker his early pick amongst the field of alleged weirdos and most unfit Republican Senate candidates, setting the stage for a showdown in November. If he wins, he could, this nation has truly lost his mind, he argued. Ladies and gentlemen, before I go into the next article about Herschel Walker, isn't that racist? Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to store up a hornet's nest here, but if he wins, America has lost his mind. Mr. Eugene, that could be considered racist in hate speech. Why? I'm just speaking my opinion. Well, we do that all the time, and y'all call us if we say something about transgenderism, as Holly did in the first story of this segment, they call him homophobic. If you say something against a black Democratic candidate, you're a racist. Don't you remember when Barack Obama was running? They said if you don't vote for Barack Obama, you're racist. He's calling, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. He has said that if people vote for Herschel Walker, they have lost their mind. Voting for a black candidate to Senate, isn't that the narrative that they're trying to push? But you see, this is the whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. They can say stuff like that because you have two black people running. You have Warnock, in which I don't care. Warnock is running, and he calls himself a pastor, but this man wouldn't know a church if it came tap him in the face. But see, they can't use the racist bid. So, we can go ahead and attack him on that. Ladies and gentlemen, Warnock hasn't done anything. No Democrat has done anything in his life except destroy this nation. Moving on to the next one. This comes from CNN Politics. Analysts say Herschel Walker just proved again what a massive risk he is for the Republican Party. Here's what the Georgia Republican Senator candidate said about climate change during a recent campaign event. Since we don't control the air, our good air decided to float over to China, bad air. So when China gets our good air, their bad air gets to move. So it moves over to good airspace. Then now we got to clean that back up. This is not how that works. This is the author of all the bad air doesn't move and masses. It certainly doesn't all move into a direct line from China to the United States. We clean it back up. For Walker, who is running against Georgia Democratic Senator Warnock, this nonsense answer on climate change is keeping with the number of self-created controversies he faced recently. There was a report that Walker claimed to be in law enforcement when he wasn't, and the public acknowledged of having 3 children with women he was not married to, and his answer on gun control in the wake of Uvalde's mass shooting and the problems with his business record. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the thing right here. When the left attacks you, or this is from CNN, something's right. Warnock and Walker, according to the Washington Post, is in a dead heat tie. And that ain't good for the Democratic Party. Democrat parties in dead heat ties don't end very well. They either have to be leading, or if it is close, they have to do something to win the election. But ladies and gentlemen, this whole, like I said, the first article of the Washington Post, if they vote for him, they're crazy. Voting for a black candidate. Okay. And then, apparently CNN, this political writer, is giving the Republican Party some advice. I wouldn't take advice from CNN if they came and gave me $1 million. I'm sorry. Just my opinion on that. But I'm going to watch this race very close because all of a sudden I'm starting to see a lot of attacks on Herschel Walker. I think he wins. To be honest with you, just his popularity alone, I think, is going to carry him over the finish line. Warnock has not done nothing for the state of Georgia. But we're going to have to see. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of the 100th episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. I want to thank you again for listening to the Cajun Conservative. If you can, please hit the subscribe button and hit the share button. Tell a friend and let the world know that the Cajun Conservative here. So Until next time, remember, Jesus Christ is Lord. He's coming back. Don't be faint of heart because he has overcome the world. Until next time, be blessed. Bye-bye.
And he is the open door.